Hi, good afternoon. Welcome back to Mike Makes It. I've been going through the scrap bin, and today I'm going to make something that I've sort of needed for a while but managed without it, and that's a spring-loaded tap-in guide for both my lathe and the pillar drill. Most of the stuff I've already got. There's a little CAD drawing I've done. The idea is I'll have a barrel about 100mm long. I'm going to drill it out to about the diameter of this steel, which is 13mm. It's only mild steel. Couple of springs, put a cap on the end of the barrel. This is, I'm going to call it a piston. It's not going to act as a piston, but nevertheless that's what I'm calling it. That'll be a snug fit inside the barrel, be spring loaded. I haven't got the necessary tap and dies to put a screw on end onto this device, so I'm just going to have a push in steel cap. So once it's in, it's in. When I say a steel cap, it's going to be like a steel bung. It's going to be press fitted in there with my 12-ton press. And the idea of this, as you're probably aware, at the beginning of the video, what I'm going to use it for squaring up taps as I make threads in steel tubing, etc., or plate. So rather than having a drunken thread going in, hopefully this will be a little bit squarer. I have managed, like I said, but there's some scrap lying around the workshop, so there's nothing wrong with repurposing, and that's what I'm going to do. So I think the first thing I shall do, this little bit of scrap tube, I'll cut the ends off it, drill it out to approximately this diameter, but leaving a little bit shy so I can machine this to a nice snug fit. Then we get a little bit of a point on the end. Again, the dimensions are approximate. I will draw this up a little bit better and put it on my Google Drive, should you be interested. Then at the end, to harden this piece of steel up, I'm going to use some stuff I used at school many years ago and still have a little jar of it. I believe it's called caseonite. The idea is you heat the metal up, you dip it in here a few times, and it'll give you a few thou, if that, of extra carbon in the steel. So basically you're case hardening it. So for my purposes, and the very few times I'm going to be using this, a little bit of case hardening on the tip here will be absolutely fine. It's not under any load as such, only the spring tension, so I don't think I'm going to have an issue with wear and tear, even if I didn't harden this piece of steel. So anyhow, we'll get over to the lathe, we'll cut a few bits off, drill a few holes, and we'll kind of show you how we're going on with it. Okay, we've got the workpiece in the lathe. Not ideal how I've set it up, but I think will be good. I've got a dead centre here. I think what I could really do with is live centre. I think that's what they call them. But this will stop a little bit of chatter. The bar's out quite a way. This part, 40mm here, I want to take down to about 8mm. This I only have to take a fraction off at about 1/2 mil. Ideally I'd do this section first, but I want to do the 8mm to make sure I got a nice fit into the tube. Doing the other way around I won't be able to do that, so I'm going to take this down to about 8mm, this to about just under 11.5. So that's the plan. Then this end I'm going to put a 60-degree point on it, if you want to call it that. So yeah, I'll move the camera around so I can actually get to the lathe, and here we go. Okay, that's not come out too bad, I don't think. The pistons, I call it, just catching a little bit inside, so I'll just need to free that off. But the points come out alright. This finish is very good here. The thicker diameter, a little bit rough. Don't know whether that's down to chattering or if I lost the edge on the tungsten tipped tool I use on the lathe. So, but I still got a fairly good fit in here, and that's what I'm looking for. And this end is particularly well, quite a bit tighter, which is what I want. Like I said many times, I don't work to fractions of inches, not in the garage, but I still, you know, personal gain, I want it as close as I could possibly get. So what I'm going to do now, just free this piston off a little bit. I'm undecided whether I'm going to see if I can get a tap to go in the end. I've lost the 12mm tap that I had. Now otherwise I could have put a thread in there and put a set screw or a grub screw in the end, so it's removable easier. Failing that, I'm just going to do approximately a 12mm bung and push it in, and that should be good because this hardly wants maintenance. There is a hole in the scrap bit of metal I've used. If needed, I can run some oil in there. But what I want to do as well is, as I said before, case harden just the tip. The rest doesn't matter. It's not going to be. It's not an industrial tool. It's going to get used 100 times a day. So if I can just case harden the tip with the caseonite I've got, that'll be a plus as far as I'm concerned. Also in the post from eBay, I've got some cold blue-in liquid. You basically clean the surface up, paint it on effectively, and it'll turn black almost immediately. So it's going to have some rust protection there. So anyhow, I'll set it up and we'll see if we can case harden the tip there. And I'll take you over to the bench and we'll do that. Well, there you go. That's all together now. I did find the 12mm tap, and all I simply did was put 12mm thread in the end here. Found a 12mm cap-headed bolt. Cut the bolt down a little bit. Put that back together for you, and machined it flush with the tube, so it's not going to foul in the chucks. The spring tension is good. I think probably sufficient. If not, I can always increase the spring I put in there, put a stronger one in. Now I'm going to go and cold blue it, so it's going to have some rust resistance to. So that's what we'll do now. Right, this is where we're going to case harden the tip of this thing. I've got a blow lamp set up here, a little jug of water to quench the tip in when it's done, and the caseonite in a little jam jar. The idea is you heat the tip, in this case so it's cherry red, whack it in the caseonite, swirl it around a little bit, then quench it immediately. Or if you want a deeper thickness of the case hardening, put it back in the caseonite, heat it cherry red again and quench it. You repeat the process a few times to give you a thicker case hardening. So that's what we're going to do. I'm talking now before we put the blow lamp on because it's going to be a little bit noisy. But here we go. Might take a while. one last time and we'll quench it. We'll let that cool down a little bit and we can see if it has actually hardened the tip up. Give it a little bit of a clean up. Hopefully it's not destroyed it. We'll let it cool down. Yeah, that cleaned up quite nicely. I don't expect you'll get this on camera, but the feel, the drag of the file, that just feels like mild steel. You definitely drag there. Yet up here, this area, there's a lot less resistance in the sense the file just skids over the metal. Here it drags there. I could file it still, but it's definitely harder here than down here, and that's all I'm looking for, that the tip of this piston, as I call it, just to be a little bit harder, so it should last longer. It'll see me out, that's for sure. eBay have delivered, and this is what's arrived. Philips Professional Cold Blue. As I said, what I want to do is blue the parts. That's the terminology, I believe. It basically turns them black. Now the instructions of this say mix it 3 parts of water to 1 part of this. Now I'm kind of trying it just neat, and I've just dipped that in and it's gone black straight away. So I'm not quite going to follow the instructions. I have thoroughly degreased these parts. There's not a spot of grease on there now. I use isopropanol to clean it with clean white rags. So all I'm going to do now in the neat solution is just roll that around. And that's going the colour I'd like it to go. That's a nice shade of black. It does say on the instructions over 3 minutes it'll get darker. Then after that you rinse it in water and spread with an oil that they sell. Basically I'm going to be putting on WD-40. I might even just soak it overnight on some 3-in-1 just to let the coating fully harden, because it's not sort of immediate according to what they're saying. It's a build-up of the colour plus a hardening over a period of time. Now, a slightly different colour going on there. The tip is a different colour to the rest of the body. The rest of the body we're not going to see, so I'm not overly worried about that. We'll drop this bolt in. You can't, don't think I can, well, it was half coloured when it went in, now it's fully coloured, so it don't hang around too long. As I say, it's the first time I've used it, so experimenting a little bit. But if you look at this, clear, or clear, it's silver, no rust, clean metal, that's what I should be saying. You dip that in there. That don't seem to be taken quite so readily. That may take longer to go. I hope it does colour. Yeah, there is a colouring going on. That other metal in here went straight away. Don't know why that's taking longer. But I'll do what it says and leave it in here. It does say go over with a little brush and short strokes, kind of agitate it. I did roughen the metal surface up on the body. It is turning colour now. You probably can see there's it is going a little bit darker. Don't really help not having quite enough liquid in there, so put a little drop more in. Well, I'll let this carry on, leave it soaking for a while, and I'll show you the finished results. But it's working. There you go. You've got to be meticulous with the cleaning, and this metal, this part, the barrel, must have had some sort of coating on it. I had to take it to the lathe and put some emery cloth on it to give it really, really clean and get that coating off. There's a couple of little places that's missed, but for now you can see there, I think that might have been me with a greasy finger. But nevertheless, it's complete. It was made from scrap. It's going to be just what I need for when I'm on the drill press and tapping away. Also, the lathe will be quite useful. So yeah, there you go. That's your spring-loaded tapping guide, all made out of scrap. Thanks for watching.